Haha! There it is. It is a stream. It sure is. Alright. Is everything fine? Everything is fine. Good. Everything is the way I want it to be set up. Hello. Hello. Welcome to this fine Wednesday stream. We're just having another nice chill time today. Probably play some card game at some point. But yeah. Let's see how it's going. I'm gonna have something to drink actually. Pardon me. Those of you out there watching along are having a good day? It has been pretty uneventful today. Not much to report. But, you know, uneventful is fine. Let's see. Okay, Steam is loaded up. Maybe I should just get into some Inscription and see how we get on with that. Oh, more Shadow of the Demon Lord. Slept most of the day. Mood, yeah. Wow, I hope the Shadow of the Demon Lord game goes well. Oh, excuse me. It reminds me, I need to do some D&D prep. We were off this last week as a scheduled break. But we're back on again. And we're at that period of the campaign where, you know, shit's got real. We're in the final act, and all of those all those things that have been thrown up in the air are now starting to come down. We're doing the payoff, you know. Everything's kicking off. So yeah, I never know how many sessions I have left at the end of a campaign until it's like the last one. Time for some goddamn answers as to what the hell's going on setting up the mid-game. Nice. Yeah. Red. That's good though. Yeah. Trying to think where like we are in Red's game where I'm playing, and that's sort of like how to describe that. Oh yeah, I mean, it feels like we're moving from reacting to acting, where we are taking action rather than reacting to what is going on. We are turning the tables, yeah. Maybe not exactly, but yeah, you know. Which is good. It's definitely good, because it definitely feels like the sort of thing you want a rebellion to do, you know? That's what we're that's what rebels are supposed to do, take direct action. But then, you know, if we do it too early, then it all falls apart and it doesn't work, so. Yeah, last session we basically just collapsed an entire keep that would allow and blocked the pass to allow reinforcements in for the evil overlord of the city. And so now we can go back and be like, alright, help isn't coming for you. Let's see how you deal with us. Haha! So, that's good. Now we're going to have to attend a fancy ball as well when we get back, because the we find letters saying that the evil mayor, overlord, whatever, doesn't want us to be there. And we're like, oh, well, then we're absolutely going. So, yeah. It'll be much easier if they're not there. Well, joke's on you. Surprise! Yeah. So that'll be fun. But yeah, and we are only in like this. Is this chapter 2 or 3? I can't remember. I can't remember how many chapters we're into the adventure path. But like, I don't know. There are like five chapters, I think. Practice around book 3 or 4. We might be in 3. I don't know. I can't remember. I haven't been keeping track. I think it's book 2. I think we're in book 2. I don't know. It is book 3. Okay. All right. That makes sense. That's on track then. Yeah. It's also just part of the often the way that your average D&D or D&D-esque game tends to go is that you often don't have the ability to be as proactive until you reach a certain level where you have more ability to affect things, and you've maybe built up some contacts and some established yourselves a bit. You don't have the ability to be driving things as easily, and so yeah, by the time you get to like book 3 of a 5-book adventure path, then you are at the level where you can start to drive things. That is often how it goes. You don't have to sort of sit around and wait for the plot to happen. You can just be like, let's go! Yeah. Apex. Hello. Oh, it's 6 books long. Right. Yes, you mentioned this before. We talked about this. You can compress 5 and 6 together because there's a lot of useless filler. Yeah, I've heard that complaint. I've talked to Dura about this with various other Pathfinder adventure paths, and they do that a fair bit, it seems. And we're trying to sell like 6 books here or whatever. So, yeah, fill it full of things. But yeah. Compress 5 and 6 together. I mean, I've talked a lot about how my campaign is very loosely based on a 2nd edition module, and I've cut out massive chunks of it because it's completely useless. In order to express the structure, novice characters are 0 to 2 are reactive, expert characters 3 to 6 have goals and trying to achieve them, master characters 7 to 10 choose their own quests. Okay, that's neat. That they're very upfront about that, which is good. Yeah, allows you to get your head around things a bit more easily. But yeah, I'm sure I've said this many times, but when I've talked about my campaign using Faction War from 2nd edition from the Planescape stuff, not only is there a whole lot of filler, it's a very long module, and I'm just like, get rid of this. There's an entire chapter that's just a big red herring. Like that I just removed in its entirety, and like a chapter is very long, and I was like, this introduces a cult who might be behind everything, and leads the players down this rabbit hole of finding out what the cult's up to, and then ultimately they find out that they have nothing to do with it, and then it's entirely irrelevant. So you're basically just stringing them along for an entire chapter to rug pull them right at the end, and I'm like, nah. No, I'm not doing that. We're just gonna cut that right out. No thank you. Not interested. I would like to reward players for investing themselves in the story and not gotcha them by presenting something for them to get invested in and then at the last second going like, lol, it was a joke. I'd prefer not to do that, so I'm not gonna. Yeah. Like, it's one thing if the players get fixated on a detail that you didn't expect and, you know, draw their own wrong conclusions. But it's another thing to, you know, try and do that to them on purpose. Yeah. Huh? Photo compression? Yeah, go ahead, Red. What's up? What happened? Let me see. Some images. Oh yeah. You've got some space marines. It looks like. What is the color eyes on the left one? Well, they look like a very sort of, hold on, like a pale yellowish. Ah, it's probably lighting. I can see. I look on the other one and it looks clear. Or you mind if I show these off actually? Because we can put them on screen. We can all investigate this together. Also, so I'm not like just talking about something that you can't see. Hold on. I just need to do a few adjustments. Same model taken later. Whoops. Didn't need to hit that. Let's have a look. Let's investigate. I see. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, so there's definitely a tint to them there. Also, very nice work on the paint job. I mean, on all this. We've got these yellow and red Space Marines. It's either compression or it's honestly lighting. Like, okay. Do you move these in between shots? Ah, a trick of the light. Yeah. It could be compression, or it could just be... just change the angle. I wonder if you... No, I'm looking at them thinking if you color picked them, you would probably... Yeah, they would be different. Because sometimes, you know, like relative color can throw you off. Yeah, JPEG compression. That would make sense. It's definitely looking a little crunchy. Just a tiny bit. I can see the compression. Or that's what I think. Yeah, and this is like higher. This is closer in. Hold on. There's also... Do you take this with a macro lens or something? Because there's something else going on here. Or maybe it's just autofocus. Right. Touch up those chest eagles. Or just, you know, lean into it. It's weathering. Weather everything. Jankass phone. Okay. Yeah. Because this one has higher contrast, but that will just be because of phone auto adjusting itself. I would bet. So yeah, I don't think like that doesn't look too bad. It looks kind of a little bit weathered. Just say it's weathering and it's on purpose. What are these guys? They've got like belt-fed arm guns, and is that a goblet in a cup? In a box around his waist? What is that? Space Marines. This guy's got a little door. Oh, holy relics, of course. The holy chalice of both of these. Yeah. Oh, I was like, what is that? Oh, that's like a little bit of cloth with like a little emblem. This this is just due to me not being familiar with it, but I did initially sort of just out the corner of my eye. I was like, has he got some bacon strapped to his armor? Just he needs a snack. Just gonna like. And I looked a bit closer and it's like, no, it's not. It's very overcooked bacon if it is, Just give it a little bit of a pink color to it and it definitely would look like a bacon strip. If your Space Marines are not covered in random bits of scripture, are they really Space Marines? It's true. They're only Space Marines if they come from the space region of the galaxy. Otherwise, they're just sparkling stormtroopers. I don't know. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, it's one of those weird things with compression. There's a lot of yellow around it, so JPEG compression algorithm, like, this is all the same, obviously. Oh, well, there we go. Neat. Space Marine. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, those are some nice bases, I realized, with some little tufts of grass and whatnot. Very good, very good. That's the easy part. I can believe that, because that looked like practical, like you glued some gravel and some like fake grass or whatever, just like, glue it down. I don't know if there was much painting involved in that, is the from looking at it. Easy kits you can get for that. I can believe that, yeah. I never got into Warcraft, Warhammer, not Warcraft. Oh, Warcraft, both are actually true. Sorry, brain. Warhammer. But I do occasionally go and look up, like, meaning painting, the meaning painting subreddit or those communities, because they do make some cool looking stuff. One's a rip-off of another. Which way around is it? I'll never tell. But yeah, what some people can do with mini painting is really impressive. And like, StarCraft was literally supposed to be a 40k game early on. They had to pivot. Oh wow. Cool. See, now I'm just gonna go look it up and show you some cool stuff, maybe. I'm like, look at this stuff. Hold on a second. Oh yeah. Oh man. Check this out. Hold on. This is just from browsing r/mini painting. This is from a poster by the name of Flameon Miniatures. Check this out. Look at this. Look at this shit. Look. It looks so cool. With the base and everything. That's dope. I love it when they can do the, like, what is this? It's object source lighting, OSL, where like it's painted, but it looks like it's glowing. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's absurd. And like the and this has actually got kind of like a heavier, like almost like comic booky kind of look to it. But look at the glow. Look at the glow on this. Like, it looks like it's glowing, but that's all painted on. Sorcery. Witchcraft. How? Oh, like the cosplayers that do cell shading makeup? Yeah, that rules as well. Some people are so very skilled at doing these things. It's so freaking, like, impressive. Yeah. Also, just I don't know. I find that I'm finding that I really enjoy or am impressed by um, any kind of thing where there's like a heavy restriction on what you can do. Like working with miniatures, they're tiny, and so you have you've got to be creative about how you do certain things. And with like cosplay and with even like VFX and so on. Like I really find it interesting and impressive when you don't have the complete freedom of a canvas or a digital thing. You have to work within a certain set of limitations, and seeing what people can do within that is really impressive. Because it's basically like you would assume that you can't do certain things because of the restrictions of the medium, and then some people are just like, want to bet? Huh. Yeah, in cosplay you have the limitation, you usually need to be able to transport the costume in suitcases. Yes, absolutely. I was watching a video on the Tested channel on YouTube with Adam Savage interviewing a cosplayer who had made Lucifer from Sandman costume with the wings and everything. And they were like, oh yeah, well, I had to make sure it could fold down into my husband's golf bag so that we could transport it. And you're like, yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah. I think it had like posable armature wire inside, or they could like kind of take it apart. And yeah, it's got to travel. Because that's the thing with with actual like costumes for shows. They might need to travel a bit if you're doing some filming in location. But they have a lot more resources to put into protecting them. But some of them, they're like, no, this doesn't travel well. Or they'll make like multiple. The Shin Admin unzippable travel mannequin. Wow. Neat. Yeah. I love all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I do appreciate a good, any of those 3D or whatever, where they have a lot more freedom, and that's all very good as well. But I don't know, there's just something very appealing about okay, I have to work within like a physical reality. I have to actually, how do I make a model look like the real thing? How do I make this and I guess that's also true for 3D as well, but I don't know, it's just cool, and some people are really good at it. Oh, actually, yeah, hold on, where is, wait, what? No. Oh yeah, let me show you this as well. Hold on. Someone was mentioning Duru was mentioning the cosplayers that do cell shading makeup. Well, this is a post from a user who goes by WMACKO, but this is a Borderlands inspired Legion glaive. Check this out. How about a cell shaded mini? Look at this. Look at it. It looks so good. It's ridiculous. Oh man. That's really good. Man. And just it genuinely, it looks cell shaded. I don't, with the heavy black outlines and everything, and oh man, that's so cool. And just think about the amount of time it must have taken to actually like do all of this, like very precise, methodical work over a long period of time. God, yeah, it's so good. More time than I'll ever spend on a mini. Yeah, the heat damage metal on the back of the house. Oh, it's so very good. Yeah. See if there's any other. There's plenty of cool stuff. Yeah. I'm back. I'm dropping my pen everywhere. Just throwing everything. Oh man. But yeah, the amount of work that goes into these things. Any kind of like, yeah, anything like that is just it requires a lot of like very fine work and like dexterity, and that's, I don't know that that's something I'm capable of, so I find it additionally impressive to be like, I don't even know how you have the patience to sit there and do all of that. Yeah. Is that way about? I guess it's just different. Yeah, it's different. Where I'm just like, the thing that worries me about like physical art and things of that nature, that is one of the benefits of doing digital stuff, is if you screw it up, it's a lot easier to go back and like undo it and start again and fix it, or fix it in post. But if you screw up a mini, well, you can claw it back in some ways, but it's a lot harder. So that's and I am not only like worried about that, I'm notoriously bad about like making up my mind of like, I could do it this way or I could do it this way. I don't know which way is the best way to do it. I'm gonna try doing it both ways. Which one works? It was this one. Okay, good. Whoops. Yeah. So it's just different skill sets, I suppose. And I guess you don't get good at painting minis without having a pile of bad, unfinished minis that you are just like, this one was crap, but whatever. You gotta get your hours in, you gotta get the crap minis done before you can have the good ones. A 3D coloring book. I mean, I feel like that's underselling the the skill involved in doing minis. It is definitely it is definitely its own skill. It does require an eye and a steady hand and all of these things. You do have to know what you're doing. I've seen pictures of like the really sort of bad stuff where it's all clumped together and kind of. There's one thing I know about painting minis is you gotta thin your paints. I know that you gotta thin your paints. Some old jank, yeah. It's always gonna be old jank. Yeah, I don't know. Except when you shouldn't. I suppose there are exceptions, yes. There's all kinds of stuff I could. I'm just browsing through seeing if there's. I mean, there's tons of cool shit. Like from this post from Maverick's Paint. Some chrome, like painted on chrome. Look at that! What the hell? What the hell? This is wild. Whoops. It looks shiny. It's not. It's painted, but it looks like it's shiny. Again, sorcery, witchcraft. I don't know. No, I know how you do it. Like, obviously, you know, paint all that stuff in, but man, it's wild. Super impressive. Back to the booth. Like, when you learn how much work goes into certain things, it's just like, wow, crazy. Like, in a similar vein, oh, what was I watching? Yes, I was watching another episode of the Shuttlepod podcast, and where they had the visual effects legend Ronald B. Moore, not Ronald D. Moore, the writer who wrote a bunch of Star Trek episodes, and Battlestar Galactica and stuff like that, but Ronald B. Moore, who is a visual effects guy. And they were interviewing him and talking about his career, and he spent some time explaining how all the old like photochemical versions of doing effects worked, because he worked on Ghostbusters, like the original Ghostbusters movie, and he'd explained like there's a scene where Slimer has to go around a chandelier, and he's like, okay, so we need to have a plate with a hole in it so that, you know, a gap so that you can go behind the thing. We can overlay the image on the front, then we need to take it away when it goes in front of it, and I need to do that on 3 separate color passes. I need to do a red. I need to split the film into red, green, and blue, and do that effect for each of those. Hey, Ankno, for the 19th month. Sorry, the notification isn't popping up. It's not working at the moment for some reason. It tells me I need something about cookies. Oh, there's a noise. Wait, maybe it's fine. Okay, that's weird. I might need to fix that. Let me see. Maybe I just need to log in. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix it. Or it might fix itself, I don't know. Nope. Elements? No, overlays. I thought I had it set up. Okay, I'll need to look into this. I don't know why it's not working properly. Baking cookies. Oh, need to get ingredients. Oh man, excellent. I approve. Yeah, I may need to redo these elements. That's fine. Or maybe it'll fix itself. I don't know. Oh well. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Notifications. Oh, I bet they added elements editor. Something changed. Ah, whoops. That's fine. But what kind of cookies? Or is it a secret? What kind though? Oh, recently I tried some of Mum had a recipe for tahini cookies made with tahini and white chocolate chunks, and they're very good. They're very good. So I recommend those. if you haven't decided. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Alright, well. Yeah, I'll fix the notifications later. Sorry, I got my stream manager, I got a Twitch page open, I can see what's going on. Even if they don't pop up on the stream. Well, it's fine. Sometimes I wish I could just, why does it just, I have to fix, why do I have to get in there and fix everything? God damn it. Why can't it just work? But whatever. It is fine. It just works. Yeah. Yeah, but no, like, man, I don't know. I think I was talking about watching the podcast with the visual effects guy, and just that was one where, because on that podcast they've had actors and directors and the writers and people of that nature, mostly actors. And so I was like, oh, well, I wonder if this will be interesting. And it was really interesting to learn about all the, the conditions on making visual effects for how they had to do it back in the day in TNG, and how how much of a madhouse it was early on, and how really how hard they worked to make it a thing. Like, it was telling one story about how a lot of everybody else hated them because they had to be very specific about how the way shots were set up, because if they didn't set up the shot properly, it would take a lot of extra time to do the effects right. And there was one, I was telling a story about one episode of Next Gen where it's the one where Geordi has to recreate the crime scene with all the invisible shadow person, and they were setting up the shot, and he was like, it was literally like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. They've been working all day on a Friday, and they were setting up the shot, and everybody wanted to go home, and he just looked at it and was like, this isn't gonna work. This shot, this isn't going to work. I can't fix this in post. This isn't gonna work. And so he had to say, sorry guys, this isn't gonna work. Start over. I need this here and this. And everyone was like, are you fucking serious? And so they did. They did it, and then didn't get done until for another hour or two. And it's like, yeah, that's how it is. It's like, either we take another hour to set it up properly, or it's gonna cost twice as much. Or 3 times as much to fix it in post. And I've only got a certain budget to do this. And they're like, all right, fine, I guess this is it. And it's wild how all of that stuff has to come together. Yeah, it's interesting, at least it is to me. Whoops, so I'm adjusting volume. Yeah, fix in post is, you need the base. Well, often fix it in post just means it's going to be more expensive, some good threads recently on how much of a fudge many shots of the Enterprise D are. Oh, I can believe it. I can believe it. And he's also saying like there were, for certain shots or for a lot of shots, there would have to be multiple passes to get the shot, because you would get it with just some with some lights on, with other lights on, and then you would have to composite them all together into the same shot so that it could have all the lights on and everything. Because of its shape, it never looks like it's pointing in the direction it actually is. Oh, interesting. So you have to be like, or you have to put it at a slight tilt, a slight angle to make it look like it's pointing that way, but it's actually pointing more this way or whatever. It's like how when you're doing a piece to camera, like, oh no, what is it? When two people are talking to each other, like talking heads in one shot, if they actually look directly at each other, it often looks bad. So you actually kind of have to look at the like 45 degrees. It looks weird when you have like people in profile talking. So you actually have to have it sort of like pointing forward slightly. Despite that being not really a way. That's not how you will tend to do that. The WWE I'm watching TV angel. Well, it does say angel, but angle. Yeah. Just like that. Let's have a look. Starfleet. Starfleet design. Oh, wow. Yeah. Hold on, let me show you guys this. If you haven't opened it. If you didn't appreciate my cause and effect perspective tweet, I invite you not to think about the direction the Enterprise is pointing in this shot. And yeah, when you actually look at it and think about it, it is it's basically like it's moving away from you instead of forwards. It's moving away. Yeah, that's actually, oh, and the lines are going this way, but it's moving that way. But it, oh no. Oh yeah, one of those things that if you aren't looking for it, you might not see it, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it. What is that? Okay, hold on. Back to the booth. Why has the music stopped? I think I know why. The media player is not responding. Go away. Oh, so again, the same angle was used differently. They used the same angle with warp, with the warp effect going in a different direction. Great. Well, there's the. Is it infamous? But there's a bit in the opening titles where if you when it goes from the the close-ups of the planets to the shot of the Enterprise, the background is moving in a different direction, and there's a snippet, I think it's in the rings of Saturn, that sort of just gets kind of like pulled out. You could yeah, Saturn is used as the wipe, that's what it is. And so you can, if you look inside the rings, you can see like where the background was, and it doesn't match up with everything else. Yeah. Much more noticeable in HD. Yeah, that was one of the things Ronald B. Moore mentioned. They asked him a question. He's like, in a lot in the HD stuff, not necessarily that you can always see more of the effects being wonky, but for next gen, they had to redo a bunch of them. And some of them, I think he said he saw it and he was like, oh, that's, there's something off about that. I think he said something about there being like a line around like a gap in the mat, like where you could see matte edges, like the hole cut out for the Enterprise, like it didn't quite line up where the Enterprise went, something like that. It's like, that's, a shame. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, it's clearly just, but no, obviously what happens here in that shot is that, you know, they just like to drift the Enterprise at an angle, you know. It's getting this drift going. And it's also clear to me from that shot, because I've still got it up, but it looks to me like that is just a static plate, because there's nothing animated on that. Like that's literally a still of the Enterprise. There's no like lights blinking. The warp nacelles are not even like glowing or like you know, changing. It's literally just a static image just going, which is probably true for a lot of like the shots. Real spaceships drift all the time, and it's true. But then like and you know, Starship Enterprise and other stuff, they never really behave like real spaceships that often. Yeah, spatial used to orbit backwards. True. Like once you got an orbit going and you're not thrusting in any particular direction, it doesn't matter which way you point, really. So you know. Unless you're trying to get, I don't know, try and get some solar power or something. Yeah, you set yourself up early for the next burn. Exactly. You do that all the time in Kerbal. But, you know, realistic spaceflight has never been something, has very rarely been something that Star Trek has been concerned with. You know? I'm trying to think, like, the closest we got to it was maybe... there were some episodes. I think in First Contact with the launch of the Phoenix. And then, oh, what's the episode? Blink of an Eye in, I think that's the one in Voyager, where they actually, where the aliens on the really fastly moving planet send up a rocket to investigate Voyager. But otherwise, it's like, you know, when dealing with actual rocketry, yeah. You don't say like, we're in orbit around whatever. But... yeah. Oh, there we go. But God, like, again, like, learning how much, yeah, destroy themselves for taking over the entire Delta Quadrant. Yeah, probably. I wonder if they showed up in Star Trek Online. That seems like the sort of thing Star Trek Online would follow up on, right? Maybe they did. Like, it was part of the plot of the episode that they developed super advanced technology that allowed them to help Voyager leave by the end of it, so who knows. Early in development, TOS wanted to distance themselves from actual spaceships because whatever they went for would end up outdated. Yeah, that's actually very smart. Didn't want to look like Flash Gordon with, you know, the big pointy rocket ship with the fins and everything. Yeah. No fins or rocket. I remember, again, another tested video, but I mentioned in the one about the conserving the Enterprise that the design of the original Enterprise with the nacelles and the saucer and everything, it basically always creates a line of action. It always looks like it's going somewhere. Like it always draws your eye like through it to imply motion or direction or something, versus like just like a saucer that just kind of sits there. So even when it's just like floating, you know, not moving, it looks like it's going somewhere, which is yeah. And it always looks like a thing in space, yeah, because it clearly couldn't. It looks like it wouldn't hold up under its own weight, you know, without supports or anything. So it can only exist in space. Hold on. Oh god, that was just that same Twitter user we just looked at. There was a made a meme. Warp speed drifting. Very good. Warp speed drift. Yeah. Very cool. Tokyo Protocol, engage! Wait, computer, play, what is it? Ah, yeah. Computer, play Initial D, Deja Vu, engage! Or whatever. Computer, load Eurobeat mix. Make it so. Activate secret NOS cells, yeah. Computer, drop the beat. Blarp. Yeah. God, what's the other thing that's going around I've seen, I'm talking about with Star Trek recently, is that there's like a little teaser for season 2 of Strange New Worlds where you can kind of see in the background, you can see from the crossover episode with Lower Decks, you can see live action Boimler and Mariner very briefly, and everyone's like freaking out, like, oh, there they are, it's them in live action. Ah man, I am looking forward to that, because I think season 2 is in like post-production at this point. I'm not sure when it's coming out. Yeah. Live action versions of the Lower Deck uniforms look great. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, they are red. They're doing a legit both ways crossover. Yep. And we're still not sure how it's gonna work, but we know that there's an episode of Strange New Worlds. They're gonna be. I'm not sure how. I think it's a episode of Strange New Worlds with Boimler and Mariner in it somehow. It's either gonna be like time travel shenanigans or a holodeck episode from the Lower Decks point of view. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Time will tell. I'm excited either way. Yeah, because like Strange New Worlds is like pre-TOS, and then Lower Decks is post Nemesis, isn't it? Yeah. So you know, big time gap. Frakes directed it. Oh, that's encouraging. Jonathan Frakes' episodes of Star Trek are usually good. He's usually a very good director. Apparently had a blast. I bet if they're having just a goofy fun time, then yeah. And I love that Strange New Worlds isn't afraid to do that. They had that whole episode in the first season. Oh, what the hell was it called? But it was where everyone basically got, you know, there was a fantasy story overtook the Enterprise, and everyone had to play different roles, and they were clearly having a blast. like Anson Mount was just enjoying himself immensely. Playing a sort of snively little coward of a advisor or whatever. It was great. It was great. Good episode. Pre-TOS brings it to terms of service. Yeah. It was Jonathan Frakes, right? Like, in a world before user agreements. Yeah. I am very glad that Boimler and Mariner are showing up in live action, because that's great. During the whole of Picard season 3, I was hoping, I knew it was unlikely, but I was really hoping for Riker to reference like the Cerritos or, you know, them, because he's shown up in Lower Decks, and several times. So I was like, oh, come on. And there's even a scene in Picard season 3 that is very similar to something that the Cerritos did in Lower Decks season 2, where they have to fly by instruments through a debris field. They have to turn off all their power or whatever, and they have to do it all manually. And I was like, oh, come on. And Riker's in command of the ship at the time. And I was like, you couldn't, come on, you could have said something like, here's a trick I learned from Captain Freeman or something. It's like, come on, this is a perfect opportunity. You blew it. Yeah, where were the Cali class ships in Frontier Day? Maybe they actually got retired by that point. Who knows? No, wait. Oh. No, here's what would happen. So like the entire fleet is at Frontier Day, which makes no sense because it's really silly. So what it actually is, it's most of the ship, and you know they still have work to do on Frontier. There's still stuff that needs doing, like all the tasks and so on. So who's doing that? It's the entire Cali class fleet. They were out like tidying up after all the ships who went back to Frontier Day. They were off actually making sure things didn't fall apart. That's my headcanon. That's why there weren't any in the Frontier Day celebrations. Yeah, the caddies are running around doing their goddamn jobs. Somebody's got to do their job. Someone's got to do it. Like, that's absolutely what would happen. Yeah. Man. God, I'm so looking forward to not only, well, the next season of Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks, and then the combined. I'm at the Strange New Worlds, I'm at the Lower Decks, I'm at the combination Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks. Give it to me. Yeah. Strange New Decks. Yeah. I think I read on that articles about like the little premiere, or the little teaser, that I think the episode of Strange New Worlds where the crossover happens is going to be called Those Old Scientists, which was a line from Lower Decks season 1 when Boyman was like, "Oh yeah, I love Kirk and Spock. You know, the TOS era, like the what of the Those Old Scientists era," which is like, oh man, yeah. TOS. Oh, it was Ransom. Oh, right, it was Ransom. No, you're right. Sorry. Yes. I forget. Ransom said the line. That's right. Mm. God, what a good, what a good show. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, like right now, like Discovery is wrapping up. I think it's got, you know, one more season left. We've got Strange New Worlds is continuing, Lower Decks is continuing. Picard is done. Picard is almost definitely done. I don't know if there's been any word on that spin-off on Star Trek Legacy with Seven and all that. Mostly just I think it's still the last same as the last time I saw anything about it, which is that, you know, the fans want it. There are some people, I think Terry Matalas was interested in doing it. It just remains to be seen if it actually goes forward. So I hope it does. That would be fun. And they so very much set up a continuation at the end of Picard Season 3, even though, like, Picard's story is obviously done. So it would be nice. A couple of bits of TOS Trek merch from the 90s that wanted to give away that pointedly refused to use TOS anywhere on the packaging. I guess it's all just Star Trek. Yeah, would make sense. Classic Star Trek. Ah. Star Trek Zero. Diet Star Trek. Star Trek Cherry. The trademark they were going with. I suppose so, yeah, makes sense. Not like the original Star Trek. See the original cast in their newest adventure yet. The ship is cold and drafty. I complain, but nobody listens. Yeah. So it's from the original TV series. Ah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, one of the things I've learned watching so much of the Shuttlepod show with all the various Star Trek actors and people involved in the shows is that, you know, when TNG came out, it was very... A lot of people didn't like it, and it wasn't very good in the first season. It was bad. It was not great. Not just but people didn't like it not just because it was, you know, not very good to begin with. It was also, a lot of people were very against the idea of a new Star Trek show. They were like, no, this isn't Star Trek. This is, you know, Star Trek is Kirk and Spock and Scotty and Uhura and Sulu and Chekhov. This isn't Star Trek. Boo, we don't like this. Bald guy's the captain? Boo, etc, etc. And now, like, TNG is one of the most beloved series of the whole thing. And it's like, well, yeah. It does show that often, you know, vocal parts of the fan base often just don't want anything to change. And you're like, that's, you know, it's the way fandom works a lot of the time. It's like, I want the same thing I've seen many times again. It's like, you sure you don't want something else? It's like, no, more of this. Like, okay, all right, fine. Yeah, they're worried about that too. They tried to iron as much as they could. Guest appearance by McCoy, same virus. Yeah, it's interesting. Although, because didn't Gene Roddenberry have a thing where he didn't want a lot of the same aliens showing up? They wanted all new aliens. I guess. So, like, on the one hand, they're trying to distance themselves, but on the other hand, like, here's McCoy. Here's literally a repeat of the Naked Time. The TNG episode was Naked Now. Yeah. Oh god, having listened to some of the people talk about what an absolute shit show the production of season 1 was. Like, it was apparently it was like a madhouse. It was it was a real nightmare behind the scenes to get it made. And yeah, I can believe it. That was his objections, right? He was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I was like, no, people won't respond. Yeah. And that's why it took a couple of seasons to get going. But I believe, as I understand it, again, I picked a lot of this up from the Shuttle podcast with people involved in Star Trek. And I believe it was, I think it was something like it was commissioned as like a full 7 series deal. Like they were going for, it wasn't just like, we'll see how the first season does. They were supposed to be going for a long time to begin with. Or like that was the that was the expectation, at least. And that kept going up until Enterprise, where they were like, okay, it's time for DS9, 7 seasons. Voyager, 7 seasons. Enterprise, 4. But apparently people making Enterprise were like, hey, these Star Trek shows have gone for 7 seasons each, and there's no reason to think that you won't also do that. And then, surprise, the network you're on is crumbling and they cancel you, so awkward. Yeah. Yeah. But like, even now, thinking about it, like, yeah, you've got the executives who definitely want to call back to the old stuff, who seem to be very worried about, you know, pushing forward, because that was the thing with like a lot of the Trek now, like Discovery was set, you know, again, that was another prequel. Strange New Worlds, as great as it is another prequel. Picard isn't not a prequel, but it is still like, you know, here's the characters you remember from back in the day. Lower Decks is maybe well, Lower Decks is, you know, moving forward after Nemesis or whatever with a new cast of characters, but it does rely a lot on, it does use a lot of references back to things. So there's not a whole lot that's like completely pushing forward all on its own, except for like the later seasons of Discovery, I suppose. Yeah. So, you know, we still haven't gotten over that problem of that anxiety, or that, you know, worry about people won't like it if we don't tie it into all the stuff that they already like. Yeah. But man, the landscape of TV is so completely different from like the 80s when TNG was getting started to now. It's completely different. So I don't know. Excuse me. Those. Oh, sorry. It's yawn. Yeah. Ooh, dear. I have been absorbing a lot of Star Trek based things recently. Just going down that rabbit hole. Once again, I never really left, let's be honest. Nobody can ever truly leave. Yeah, what did I watch recently? I mentioned the Shuttlepod podcast. That's often like good background noise for me doing other stuff, so I usually put that on. And they had on, listen to the one with Ronald B. Moore. At some point they got to have Ronald D. Moore on as well to complete the set. But there was also the episode with James Darren, who played Vic Fontaine on DS9, and like some wild stories. And Jonathan Frakes was another recent one. They're always just a good time. Oh right, and I gotta watch Prodigy. I keep meaning to continue watching it because I hear it does get into some very good very good stuff. I gotta watch that at some point because they had an episode with the podcast had an episode with Bonnie Gordon, who plays the computer on that show, and she's great. And I was like, oh man, I should watch this show. Dropout, eh? While playing to is mostly game changers, some of their other stuff. Just dodging anything regarding tears, yeah. It's wild though, because yeah, you basically have to go into a bunker because freaking everybody is playing it right now. Like, don't tell me. Although mostly, I think I said this yesterday, but or the other day, but most of what I've seen of it is just like people doing wacky nonsense. Much like, kind of like how, you know, you could get up to some real shenanigans with your various abilities in the previous game, but there's even more stuff. Yeah, actually, same, Agnor. I haven't been watching like tons of it. I've been watching some of HP stream it, and I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's happening, other than like Link is here, and it's, you know, he's stapling several things together. Yeah, I gotta get to Prodigy. Maybe I'll make that my Thursday viewing, since I don't have anything else going on. Watch. Based on what people post, I'm not sure Gandalf is in this game. Yeah. Yeah, I am also Switchless, so I'm not gonna get to play it for a long time. Because if I ever do get around to getting a Switch, then I'll also have to. I will play Breath of the Wild first, because I clearly need to. Or maybe I don't. Yeah, Korok Space Program. Oh, I always forget that Breath of the Wild also came out on the Wii U. God. Mostly I just forget the Wii U existed, but then that's a common problem. It seems. Some played through most of it on there. Ah, cool. It was originally a Wii U title, but it was ported to the Switch as a launch title. Well, there you go. Yeah, it was actually a console, not a Wii add-on, is the tagline. I mean, what were they thinking? You know? But then this is also Nintendo, who made like the DS, the 3DS, the 3DS Mini, like all these other... Yes, it's Nintendo. Nintendo's gonna Nintendo. Yeah. And I mean, it's maybe not... If Sony does numbers, we can surely do it with arbitrary license. Nintendo and Microsoft. Right, yeah. The Xbox Series X and the Series S and the Xbox One. What order did they come out of? Pop quiz. What order did those come out in? I don't know. I don't remember. Which one of those is the most recent console? Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. Right, okay. There you go. You win the prize. I want to ask the audience, yeah. One D&D. I mean, yeah. DS was originally going to be called the Game Boy DS. Didn't call it that because they were worried if it bombed it would sully the name of Game Boy. Ah. So they didn't have that. So they didn't think about that when they were making the Wii U then, did they? Yeah, what do we call the next one? Ah, Xbox 2. Yeah, meanwhile, basically, yeah, meanwhile Sony is just like PS1, or PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. This isn't hard, guys. This isn't difficult. Let me think. Nintendo, right? 3D. Yeah, let's say 3DS had the similar issues. Like, these are not DS games; they are 3DS games. It's a different thing. Yeah, but Nintendo, you went with the NES or the Famicom, Super NES or the Super Famicom, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii, Wii U, and Switch. So there's basically yeah, there's basically like no consistency. It's like Nintendo hates grandparents trying to purchase gifts. Screw you, we're gonna make this as difficult as possible. PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Play 3, Station 4, PS5, PlayStation 2, Tokyo Drift. Yeah. It's just like, it's the PS5, the PS3, PS2. And surely at some point there'll be the PS6. And then we'll find out, then we'll see that Paul has 6 PS6s. If my calculations are correct, he'll achieve 10 PS10s in however many years. Yeah. Yeah. And like, what is Nintendo gonna do after the Switch? Because they've made a second Switch, the OLED version. And like, Switch 2. Xbox. Oh right, Xbox One. Because they named it because they thought it would call it the One. It's like, no, it's the X-Bone. It's like, god damn it. So it hasn't got Commodore 64s though. Oh yeah. I don't know. Is that easy or is it more difficult to find 64 Commodore 64s? It's probably more expensive. Maybe. Just stack them all up somewhere. Or 360 Xbox 360s. Also, speak again about the Xbox One. You just know there was someone, someone, an assistant or like some junior person in the marketing department, whatever department would have been responsible for naming it, where they're like, no, they'll call it the One. It's great. There's like, no, but no, everyone's gonna call it the X-Bone. It's like, shut up, Todd. We're calling it the Xbox One. It's like, okay, I'm not listening to you. It's the Xbox. It's the One. It's like, it's the X-Bone. Indulge you. 7200 Atari 7200s, 64 N64s. Yeah. As an aside, my favorite thing about the continuing saga of the XPSXs is that every time, despite the fact, you know, this has been going on for a long time, but like every time there is always someone in the comments somewhere who does not get that it's a joke. Like every time someone takes it seriously. It's like, who is this jerk, this asshole, like being a, it's like, this could not be more clearly a bit. Like, and it's just like, I'm so mad that he has. It's like, okay. I mean, it was especially funny with the 5 PS5s because nobody could get a PS5 at that point. I don't know. Maybe it's better now. Maybe you still can't. I don't know. Yeah. Well, the PS5 one, they had more than 5 because there was a giveaway. Because like, oh, I accidentally got 2. So I'm giving one away because I have 5 and I don't need this one. So they actually had more than 5 PS5s. And yeah, the other ones, I think, for like, certainly for PS4 and for the other two, yeah. There were the display unit shells, yeah. Oh, that's right, they had 7. That's right, they gave away 2. It's like, I actually have 7 PS5s. And I'm going to give 2 away because I don't need them, yeah. I mean, that almost certainly because, you know, trying to get hold of 5 PS5s at that time was difficult. So, you know, tried as hard as I could and accidentally got 2 more. But, you know, there you go. But yeah, when was that? Well, I mean, it would have been when the PS3 released. It was 2006. Yeah. And so basically the heralding of a new console, those videos are now the herald of a new console generation. And yeah, it's been a bit since 2006. So I mean, it was 7 years between the first 2 videos of 3 PS3s being 2006, 4 PS4s being 2013, and then PS5 was 2020. So again, about, yeah, it's been about 7 years between each video. But why is that not showing up? Chatty, please. I can see that. Chatty, you behaving? That's weird. Why can't I see Land's message? Anyway, console generations have gotten longer. Yes, correct. What the heck? I'm not muting this stuff, am I? There are no filters on. Alright, Chatty's just being weird. I see it. There it is. Go back to before on the scene. Oh god, yeah, I remember that. Oi. 90s console generations were like 4 years. True. I mean, it doesn't even feel like we're necessarily out of the last one because the PS5 has not really taken off because it was so hard to get, and it still is. So, you know. Yeah, well, that was that the last time we had what the hell were those called? What the hell was the name of that series? That group? Well, whatever. 64K? It was 64K, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember now. Yeah. Sorry, I had to load. Because it's been some time, and I would be shocked if we saw it again. Mostly because Jer's not with the with the crew anymore, but you know, he's off doing his own stuff. So like, no killer apps for PS5 or Series X. This is true. This is true. And yeah, because of the low like uptake or install base, you know, a lot of games are also still coming out for PS4, although less now. I'm starting to see like something being PS5 exclusive, like Jedi Survivor is not on PS4. It is on PC, but it's not on PS4. So maybe, I don't know if that's the killer app though. Who knows? Because it's also a buggy mess. Maybe that's just on PC. I don't know. Visualize console gens. Oh wow, the first was actually in 1972 to 1980. The Magnavox Odyssey Pong and the Coleco Telstar. Or Telstar. Second, 1976 to 1992. The Fairchild Channel F, Atari 2600 and the Mattel Intellivision. Okay, so by the time the NES comes along, it's actually the third generation of consoles, with the Sega Master System, the Atari 7800 and the NES. And then fourth is the NEC TurboGrafx 16, Sega Genesis, the SNK Neo Geo, and the Super and Nintendo Entertainment System. The fifth generation, 93 to 2006, Sega Saturn, the Sony PlayStation, and the Nintendo 64. And then the sixth generation was from 98 to 2013, so there's definitely some overlap there. Of the Dreamcast, the PS2, the GameCube, and the Xbox. And then from 2005 to 2017, the 360, the PS3, the Wii, the 8th, 2012 to present, the Wii U, the PS4, the Xbox One, the Switch, and we're in the 9th generation of 2020 to present of the Series XS and the PS5. They're the only ones in that generation, it seems. So we haven't got a new Switch or a new Nintendo console. And also, when you follow this, you can see, you know, earlier on there are a lot more variety and different things, but basically, yeah, since the 7th, 8th, and 9th generations, it's only been Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. And basically, the 6th generation was them and the Dreamcast, which yeah. Sega just didn't work. Yeah. Oh, there are others, but the diagram just lists the big ones. Fair enough. But even so, like, listing the big ones, we're now down to like 3 big ones, really. Yeah. Resist out of spite with each other. I mean, sometimes I think that's true. I always get the impression that like there's a whole base. My impression of the console like wars has basically been like it's between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Is that Microsoft and Sony are like going head to head, and Nintendo is just off in the corner playing with a ball and doing whatever. Like Sony and Microsoft are the ones being like, no, screw you. Okay, let's go. Yeah. And Nintendo's just like, I'm just making, you know, playing with Lego or whatever. I'm just doing whatever. And sometimes it means they come out on top, sometimes it doesn't. They don't seem to particularly care. PlayStation came out with a business deal with Nintendo, which fell through, and Sony went, well, we already have this hardware. And Microsoft didn't like Sony's dominance, saw a hole left by Sega and jumped in. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how true it is that like Nintendo doesn't like pay attention to any of that stuff. It probably isn't completely true. I'm sure they're aware of what their competitors are doing. But from the outside, it definitely seems like they don't really care as much. They're just like, mostly because of how long it takes them to catch up on certain things. Of like Nintendo's online functionality is still really behind the times, you could say. compared to like Xbox and PlayStation. So like arcane and weird of how it works. So focus on their first party library. They don't have to stay current because no one's buying a Wii to play Call of Duty. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah. Conscious decision to do their own thing. That would make sense, yeah. To basically be like, we're not playing that game, we're just gonna make what we want to make. Yeah. People need their FIFA machines. That's true. Oh man. I think that is something that gets overlooked a lot, right? I was reading about this, just of how like popular and dominating sport is for sports are rather for a lot of things, including like gaming. You know, FIFA selling gajillion copies or whatever. And it was also like, was it Disney Plus? Yes, I think it was recently where Disney Plus lost a bunch of money. They were like, oh, it's unprofitable because of all the shows and because of there's too many Star Wars and whatever. It's like, no, it's because they lost the right to air cricket. And that's what made them lose 4 million subs. Because that was what... Because turns out sports are like really popular. And cricket is really popular worldwide. Yeah, it's literally just the fact they couldn't air cricket anymore. And so like 4 million people were like, well, guess I don't need a Disney Plus sub. And those are like, but it's gotta be about all the woke bullshit. It's like, no, shut up. It's about cricket. They can't air cricket. Turns out sports are popular. Yeah, particularly in India, which is, you know, the second most populous country in the world. Yeah. Pretty big deal over there. Yeah. That's the danger of that sort of like nerd bubble. You're like, there are things that exist outside of it and are very important and impactful things for these services. Like, sports streaming has got to be so important for some things, because that's where you have a huge chunk of your audience. And it was really funny to see like all the particularly the American nerds, like, not to call them out, but like particularly the American like commenters being like, what the fuck, nobody watches cricket. It's like billions of people watch cricket. They're just not American. You know, they're one of the many people in the world who don't live in the United States. Incredibly. Like that, and like football, and probably a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Motorsport as well, like Formula 1, all of that stuff. Yeah, sports streaming and drama reality shows are so important. Not about your Star Wars show. I have to imagine that those shows do, you know, they do definitely have an effect on the like streaming numbers and subscriber counts. But yeah, very people online in the spaces that I hang out in anyway. Or that I see people talk about, definitely seem to underestimate the importance of anything else, like sports. Yeah. I mean, I will also cop to the fact that I was a little bit surprised at just how big cricket, about like, you know, how popular it was on Disney Plus. But when you think about it for like a second, you're like, right, no, it actually makes sense. To be honest, I didn't know that Disney Plus did even show cricket, so there you go. Food travel show there in New York, and it went hard on the New York is the greatest city in the world. And I was like, you can't understand how little I think about New York. Random interview, man. Yeah, I won't pretend this is uniquely an American problem, because I'm positive we do the same shit here in the UK. But existing online, you run into a lot of people from the US who are just amazed that everyone outside of that country doesn't think about them most of the time. You know? It's like, I really have no opinion on this. Everyone on the internet is American. You know, okay, here's a tip. If you want to, if you're reading like, you know, posts somewhere, specifically if they're asking for like advice or you know, questions or whatever, and it's like, can anyone help me find a thing or whatever? If they're posting it to like a generic forum, someone like Reddit or Twitter or whatever, if they don't specify what country they're in, they're probably American. This is a good rule of thumb, certainly for like Reddit. It's like, if they don't say I'm in the UK or I'm in Germany or whatever, they're most likely they're American. Like, second one behind that is UK, I think. May not be an American problem. It does bring most pointed examples. Yeah. Oh, the other one I freaking hate is where they use like state abbreviations. Like anyone else is supposed to know what that means. Like there are some obvious ones like TX being Texas. But I'm like, it's like, what? Why do you expect anyone else to know what this is? Yeah, I'm from IL. Like, what? Yeah, and this is the one I mentioned yesterday, but then this is going to be unique to. There's a similar thing that Brits do as well, where it's like, oh, I was in grade 5, or I was in year 11, or like 6th form, and like, yeah, no one else knows what that means. Nobody else knows what that means. Like, like they're so, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about, like, why they're so like allergic to giving like an actual just a number, rather than saying like, this is probably going to be completely wrong because I don't know American grades. Oh no, I can do US one. I can do UK ones. I think it's like I was in year 11 versus I'm 13. I was 13 at the time, or something like that. Or you know, oh, I was in grade 5. Like, I was 12. Oh, okay. Just give me a number. Just give me a number when you're talking about this stuff. That's what I want. Just a number, so I have any idea what you're talking about. So yeah, I'm from the specific state. So yeah, I'm from the US. Or the one, or like, I'm from the South. Do you have any idea how useless that is on a on a global scale? You mean like? Although, okay, if they have said I'm from the South, you can probably assume they're American. But if like you don't make that assumption and you just think about like what that actually sounds like, it's like, okay, do you mean the Southern Hemisphere, or do you mean like from the south of a particular country? Like, which one? Like Midwest? Midwest what? What are you talking about? And again, it's not a uniquely American thing, because we'll also do this in the UK. Like, we have the North and the Midlands and the South, but it's not even in the West. Yeah. Yeah. West Coast and then a little more Midland? The west part of the middle, the middle part of the west? I don't know. I don't know, and at this point I'm too afraid to ask. Or like, someone will ask a question about like, you know, what about, I don't know, whatever it is, or can anyone help me with this or whatever, and someone will leap in to say, oh well, what about, you know, you can get this insurance or this whatever, and it's like, oh, I'm actually in a different country. It's like, well, wait, that's the Midwest? I thought it was like in the middle of the America, but it's actually in the northern bit? Wait, hold on. This makes no sense. Hold on. That's the Midwest? No, you're lying to me. You're lying to me. This is the northern part. In the east, it's like the northeast part of the, like, central to eastern part of the U.S. What are you talking about? Where? No, what? Why? Why? This makes no goddamn sense. Oh my god. I don't. Please tell me that Midwest during the British colonial period. Okay, that starts to make more sense. Because during that point, yeah, there was all the colonies like down here, and they were expanding westward. That was the Wild West and all of that. So that's the Midwest that was... Okay, it was west from where they landed, I guess. Just please tell me that the South is actually like the south part of the US. I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. But please tell me that that's correct. At least. It's like, nah, South is actually up here for no reason. I don't even know if there is like a hard delineation, but whatever. Yes, but not California. Yeah, right. Everything apart from California. Yeah. Listen, I realize people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, considering that we are, you know, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and we have the island of Great Britain that does not contain Ireland or Northern Ireland, but there's also England, Wales, and Scotland, and I can understand the confusion. That they're running Africa or Seattle. I mean, I know that Seattle isn't the South, because I've watched Frasier, and that's not a very stereotypically Southern show. Surely not. It's like, oh, from the South. Oh, right, like California. You figure out what Scandinavia what you mean when you say that. Yeah. With or without Finland? Iceland? Sub-region of Northern Europe. Alright, let's see what Wikipedia has to say. Most commonly refers to Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. In English usage, it can sometimes refer more narrowly to the Scandinavian peninsula, which excludes Denmark but includes part of Finland, or more broadly to all of the Nordic countries, including Finland, Iceland, and the Faroe Islands. So really, take your pick. Oh yeah, yeah, the crown. Oh god, this graphic is, yeah, very funny. Hold on. So I don't know what's confusing about this. This is perfectly normal. Here's the... Okay, United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, and Great Britain is England, Scotland, and Wales. United Kingdom is those and Northern Ireland. The British Isles is all of that, plus the Republic of Ireland, and the Crown Dependencies, the Isle of Man, Guernsey, and Jersey, which are those two Channel Islands. I think that's also missing out the two other Channel Islands. But whatever. And then there's the Commonwealth, which includes Canada, Australia, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Jamaica, Solomon Islands, Belize, the Bahamas, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Tuvalu. At least it did at the time of making of this meme. I don't know if any of those have managed to extricate themselves. And then there are British overseas territories, such as Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, the Turks and... I don't know how to say that. Caicos Island? Gibraltar, British Virgin Islands, Akrotiri and Dhekelia, Anguilla, St. Helena, Ascension, Tristan da Cunha, Montserrat, British Indian Ocean Territory, South Georgia and the Southern Sandwich Islands, Falkland Islands, British Antarctic Territory, and the Pitcairn Islands. Independence from Britain is the most national holiday in the world. Yeah, so basically, all of this stuff. Well, all of this stuff. Well, okay, most of this stuff. This is, you know, limited to the British Isles, the UK and Ireland, and then everything else is shit we stole. Like, I was gonna say, I guess Northern Ireland is also colonialism, but all of this stuff is definitely colonialism. All of that, it's just ugh. Like things like the Cayman Islands. Yeah, those are British overseas territories. I guess Wales and Scotland is also colonial. I guess it also is. I don't know. It has a different. It's. I think of it differently only because it is not from like British Empire. It's a lot. It goes back a lot further than that. But I guess it is technically colonialism. It goes back a lot further, and there's a whole much older history about all of this stuff. But this is very much like British Empire colonialism. Yeah. But yes, I guess, yeah, it is actually. It is technically Scotland and Wales, England just going outwards. But part of not the problem with that, like, don't mean to downplay anything or anything like that, but all of that stuff goes back a really long time to the point like before England was like a nation. You had things like Wessex and Sussex and a lot of all of that sort of stuff going on. So yeah, that's what I mean when I say like this is old. This is a lot older than all of this stuff. So it is a very layered and complex history, but also, yeah, kind of does have. It is. Yeah, it's also not colonialism. But yeah, there we go. All right, back to the booth. Yeah. But yeah, it's perfect. All you need to remember is, you know, UK. Just call everybody, just do what the Americans do and call everybody from the UK English, and I'm sure that won't piss off anybody. Definitely doesn't upset Scots and the Northern Irish and the Welsh when you do that. Ah, dear. But yeah, it's all under the crown. Yeah. That's the thing about that graph or that graphic, because you have the only bit that's poking out of that isn't under the crown is Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, because they were, you know, very insistent about that. Like, no. Oh no, don't get me started on that one. Oh no. American, but they actually won 32-part Irish and therefore I'm Irish or whatever. Yeah, it's weird. You know, you get a lot of Americans who are like who won't self-describe as American often, or they'll say like, oh, I'm Irish. It's like, pretty sure you're American, mate. It's like, oh no, my great-grandfather was from Ireland. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, but that means I'm Irish. Like, does it? It does? Sure. So, pretty sure you're American, but okay. Yeah. That's true about Irish. That was just an example, yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting study in, like, I wonder if there are, like, you know, studies on that. Or interesting thing about, like, American national identity and why that is so widespread, you know? There's probably, yeah, complicated history of Irish people. Yes, sorry, yeah, that was an example that has a lot of history to it. And any example will, but that one I just pulled out. It was not on purpose. Yeah. It is a country of immigrants. It's true. Yeah. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Yeah, just yeah. Because they wanted to. Yeah. Well, I think that's what a lot of people. God, this is getting into some like real political stuff that's going on here now. But I think what a lot of conservatives or some people miss is that a lot of people, when they emigrate, when they leave their country, they're not doing it for no reason. A lot of times it's not because they want to, and a lot of the times it's because they need to be somewhere else. They need to escape something, get away from the terrible conditions that are, for whatever reason, are happening there, and they try to go to another country where they think they will have a better chance. You know, you don't get people pushing trying to paddle a homemade boat across the English Channel because they want to come and steal your job. They do it because they don't have any other choice, you know. So, yeah. Swedish Danish immigrants to the US because of a massive famine and they got promised farmland. Yeah, exactly. Right, that sort of thing. Like, they're trying to find somewhere that they can actually live and survive. The people who can distinguish between refugees and volunteer immigrants, yeah, there's that as well, yeah. They all get lumped into the same thing. Like, they all get lumped into just, like, immigrants. And that's, like, blah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, there's a clear shift away from their taking on jobs and they're all criminal. Yeah, that's absolutely what's been going on here. Like, that's absolutely what the Conservative government is pushing. And they just don't want to even consider any kind of care, any kind of recourse, or any resources for that. They're just like, no, leave. You know, they don't actually want to take anybody in. They would much rather just close the whole freaking thing off. It's kind of a parody horror thing. Ah, yeah. I was looking at that poster being like, there's no way this is like... there's no way this is a genuine thing. This is clearly a parody. But also, woof. Yeah. Florida dealing with infrastructure collapse because new anti-illegal immigrant bill they just signed. Yeah. God, I don't know how to... Dear Conservatives, I don't know how to explain to you that you should care about other people. Also, there's a wrinkle, not a wrinkle, but one of the things you can see about, like, one of the really clear examples of hypocrisy is when Brits, at least, talk about moving to another country. They are not immigrants, they are expats. They refer to, they were like, we're expats, you know, we live somewhere else now, we live in, I don't know, Benidorm or whatever, or Spain. It's like, so you immigrated to there. Like, no, we're expats now, we're immigrants. You know, they don't want to be, I'm an expat, I refuse to learn the local language or integrate or do anything. I'm just gonna go there and, like, shout at people in English. Like, completely, like, missing any of, like, the parallels to their own rhetoric, you know? Yeah. Oh god, I hadn't heard of Scarfolk before, but they are very they're clearly very yeah, no, they know what they're doing when it comes to satire. That's what it is. Political satire. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. God, just trying to distract myself from all the dystopian shit that's going in the UK. Going on, yeah. So yes, I'm dealing with a lack of work experience, structural work because all the immigrants left. Yeah. Brexit made that a whole lot worse. And then because what you find out is that, you know, a lot of the jobs that were being done were not being paid very well. And so the people doing them were people who just didn't have very much, who needed something, anything. And a lot of those people were immigrants for, you know, reasons we discussed previously. And now that they're, you know, they've gone, and no one wants to fill those jobs because, and you know, they're terrible, they're terribly paid, and they're terribly managed, and it's all just shit. And then, you know, oh, nobody wants to work anymore. It's like, no, we would just like to get paid. Wetherspoon's SEO being super pro Brexit and now to shut down locations because there's no workers and they also got no beer. Yeah, and what really fucking galls me, what gets me so much is like they're surprised by all of this. Like when for so long everyone campaigning against Brexit and you know, pointing out the problems that were going to happen. Like we told you repeatedly that this was going to happen. We were very clear about that. We told you exactly what was going to happen. All of the problems that were going to happen. You just didn't want to hear it. And now look where we are. Look where we are now. It's like, this is exactly what we told you was going to happen. And you are acting like you are surprised about it. It's like, yeah, turns out there was actually a lot of load-bearing stuff in those agreements. Like, we were yelling at you that the leopard is going to eat your face. It's gonna do it. The leopard is gonna eat your face. Like, that doesn't sound right. It's not going to eat my face. And there are some reports, I think, I saw on the like front pages, you know. Sometimes you go into the shops and you can't avoid the front page of a newspaper. But it was like something about like we're keeping the bendy bananas rule from the EU anyway. So it's like, you know, oh, finally we can get rid of all this EU red tape. And now we're keeping a bunch of it because it's actually useful, or it would be a bigger headache to get rid of it. It's like, so really, what was the point of all of it? You know, even from their point of view, it's like, so what was the point of this? We just basically collectively, as a nation, went and shot ourselves in the foot very publicly on the world stage. We were just like, hey everybody, look at me! Like, well, nothing else we can be used as a cautionary tale for other members of the EU. It's like, don't fucking do this, it's really stupid. Leopard is eating the wrong people's faces, yeah. It pretty much killed the anti-EU movements in every other EU country. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Oh, this one. Okay, this one is funny and not as existentially terrifying. From Scarfolk, from the The 12th of January 1973, it will no longer be legal. Whatever you do, don't. Don't be one of those people who mistakes doing for not doing, or you could face a fine. For more information, please reread this poster. The Don't campaign. Has very emblematic of some British things. Whatever you do, don't. Just love the freaking, like, what is this, owl puppet? It will no longer be legal. Whatever you do, don't. Oh god, I hadn't seen that one before. What's this one? No. For more information, please reread this poster. No. Yeah. God. The hell? It doesn't seem right. Oh, I'm not. Yeah, okay, whatever, Twitter. Sorry, random Twitter message. That was obviously spam. Yeah, okay. I'm not that stupid. Not gonna click that link, you dumbass. Anyway. Sorry, tab back over. I was like, no. No. Yeah. Mum was browsing old kids shows from our youth and stumbled upon one of her favorites, and it was one of those words of the day kids kind of show. Ah. Yeah. It's the day. Yeah, you know, there's always been, like, the conservative movements in this country, there's always been that sort of authoritarian vibe to them, or stuff. Well, I guess it's common everywhere, but, you know, don't do things. What's like cancellation and tyrant? Oh wow. It's like, no protesting, no making trouble. You must take your, just shut up and be quiet about it, or whatever it is. That's a very, you know, yeah, very, very old-fashioned British sentiment of just to, you know, suffer in silence, basically. Cancellation tyrant, cancellation subblocks to the landlord unrightfully cancelled her lease. Very socialist country in the 70s. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. Everything is just. I'm not going to pretend anything was better back in the day, you know? Oh, it was better when I was younger or whatever. But man, it does feel like 2016, when Brexit happened, it was kind of like a breaking of the dam for like authoritarianism to start to rise up again, you know? And it's like, so, you know, it's the last like 7 years have not been great. This is aimed at 6-year-olds and then teaching them about leases. Hey, you know, gotta learn about leases at some point. Actually based Swedish television from the 70s? Hell yeah. Teach them. That's, yeah. No, that's great. We need more of that. Wow. (2015) UK took the European leaderboards for LGBTQ plus rights, and this year it's fallen to 17th place. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to Turf Island. Fucking hell. Yep. Aye. And how it's not that. Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, like... Yeah, once again, down the rankings. And are we still... Is the nursing strike... Is that still going on? I haven't been keeping track of that. I think it is. You know. And it's like... Ah, man. There's such a attitude in this country a lot of the times that, you know, like I said, you know, people shouldn't complain. Or if they shouldn't do it in a way that inconveniences anybody, right? It's the resistance you see to strikes of like, well, how is it going to affect me? Or how is it going to affect this and that? And like, oh, they shouldn't go on strike because, oh, they're just greedy or whatever. It's like, I don't know what we can do about dispelling that notion, because it's like, well, fine, the train workers can go on strike, but I don't want it to affect travel. It's like, what are you... or like affect hospitals or whatever. It's like, that's the whole point. The whole point of doing that. Withholding labor, you know? It's supposed to be disruptive. Just be more disruptive. Everyone could just ignore it. Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's what they want to do. They just want to ignore it. They just want to ignore the problems. Be like, oh, mustn't grumble. Don't complain. Like, no, do complain. Make a noise. Complain. There's just that sort of... It's a very pervasive British attitude of like, just... You take your lot in life and you don't complain about it. Mustn't grumble. You don't want to be, you know, be happy with what you've got. You know, rather than thinking like, oh, no, actually, I do deserve to be treated properly or paid well or, you know, whatever. And that's what we're fighting against. Yeah, in comparison to the French, who are very much like, nope. Fuck you. Let's go. Protest hard. Yeah. Kind of looks at the side of the French people. Don't fucking trust. We built the Eiffel Tower, and we'll knock it down if we have to. Yeah. I will say I just really hope that the council elections that happened recently, I hope that's an indicator of where things are going, because the Tories got absolutely wrecked. I forgot it was happening because I'm in a London borough and our council elections work completely differently. So we didn't have any vote, didn't do any voting. There wasn't anything to vote for. Or they just happen at a different time. I forget when. But like, it was very much the sickos meme of like, yes, screw all of you, all the Tories losing 1,000 seats. It's like, okay, if this is an indicator of like the political barometer, then maybe maybe we can do something about these motherfuckers. We've been hanging around like the millstone around the neck of the UK since like 2012 or well, I don't know actually, whenever the last whenever it was. Whenever they got in, I forget when. No, I think it was about like 2012, something like that. But maybe we can actually fucking do something about them. Would be nice. But you know, trying to have hope about it's difficult. It's difficult, you know. We haven't had a good track record. Yeah. Oh. Oh god. I gotta stretch. Okay. Changing topic entirely. Just to pull myself out of this. I've been thinking about stream stuff recently. Because I noticed something for the past few streams. And I wonder if like this is a real thing or if I'm just making it up. But I do enjoy doing like the hangout and chatting streams. They're very, they're a good time, and it's also just clearly just a good way for me to get some things off my chest and to rant about some stuff. So thank you for indulging me in that. Because I noticed when not that there's like a huge viewership anyway, it's very small, but I think they tend to do better than the like random gaming streams. And I noticed yesterday when I switched to playing Inscription, like the engagement and stuff went down because suddenly I'm playing a game instead of hanging out and chatting. So I'm curious if like anyone here is like, does anyone actually have a preference, or does it matter at all? Because yeah, time to become a React streamer. No, I don't want to do that. No, please. No, please, no. So I'm not gonna do like the full. I don't think I want to do like full time, chat. I do want to still play some games, obviously. I'm just wondering if like it depends on the game or if it's just like not based on anything. I don't know. It's definitely, I think it's the streams where you have more interaction that do better, that engage the thing. Ah, no, that's all good, Red. I understand stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna play it myself. I think that's also true for a lot of. There are some games like that. Yeah. For a game instead of chatting stream is good. Okay. Yeah. Alright, that's fair enough. Because, I'm still trying to figure this out, despite having been doing it for ages, but, yeah. I'll probably still end up just playing it by ear and just being like, I feel like hanging out and chatting today rather than trying to, game it up. Yeah. Oh, chatting stream's good. Yeah. Alright. Cool. Because yeah, there's definitely the case that when you have a very small viewership, individual variance between streams can be huge, percentage-wise, but it's not that many people one way or the other. And so trying to figure out, like, am I noticing a trend here, or is it just like the luck of the draw and they were like, 5 people didn't show up today, so it's or doing something else or don't want to watch this particular one because they want to play it, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, All right. There's pretty much I was like, either I'm right and people prefer the chatting streams, or it's just a case that, you know, this game in particular, or your luck of the draw. So I think it's more to do with that. Yeah. Because I will sometimes see, you know, some streams where they're like, people are like, oh yeah, we're gonna play this today, and we're just gonna hang out and chat beforehand, and then just basically, it's like the last like 30 minutes of the stream, or like they just don't end up playing the thing at all. I'm like, you know, it clearly has an audience for that. I don't know. It's mostly just a crapshoot anyway. It's just like, I don't know, maybe you'll have more today or whatever, or not. I just know that if I tried to do just chatting all the time, I would very quickly run out of things. I would be worried about, like, well, we can go over the same stuff again and again and again. And I need to have that kind of novelty to actually keep myself interested, you know? I don't want to sit here and just be like, yeah, quick way is a quick way to become a React streamer. I mean, okay, it's not something I'm interested in doing, to be perfectly honest. Not as like becoming that for, you know, making that a whole thing. Definitely, we can say we've done React streams in the past. That was basically what the E3 coverage was, which we're not doing this year because E3 is dead. RIP. And you know, I don't essentially have a problem with it. It's, you know, it's fine. Rest in peace, E3, yeah. Because I will admit, and I've admitted this before, my guilty pleasure, like YouTube watching, is reaction channels. And I try to find ones that have like an interesting spin on things, like the Charismatic Voice on YouTube, who does, you know, song reactions from the point of view of being a classically trained opera singer. It's like, oh, that's actually interesting. But sometimes I will just find people who are just entertaining watching a movie or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's not, it's very much like YouTube junk food for me. So, you know. And then what are Let's Plays other than React content? I mean, that's also true. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I have nothing against any of that. But yeah. I just want to feel like, you know, I'm bringing something to it, and I'm like, it's whatever. Like, it's one of the reasons I'm like, you know, stuck to being a variety streamer, is because I don't know that I would have like trying to do like one thing specifically, whether it is like a particular game or like art or reactions or whatever. I would get bored. I would get bored with it. And I know that if I get bored with it, it's not going to be good. Like, it's not going to be worth watching, because if I'm just like, I'm fed up with this, but it's what I gotta do, then the quality is going to suffer. And I have enough, I'm like, no, you know, it's a good way to burn yourself out. So I need to have the variety for myself, if nobody else. Like, does that make it harder to establish a hashtag brand and whatever? Yeah, it definitely does. Do I care? No. I don't give a shit. Fuck the hustle. I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much. You gotta monetize, you gotta do that, you gotta have the thing. It's like, can't I just... I would prefer to not. I would prefer to not do that. You know? And because, you know, when it comes to like gaming or whatever else, it's like there's so much stuff out there that if I restricted myself even just to like one thing, one like type of game, I would still be like, but there's all this other stuff I want to try. I need to try all of the things. I want to play this game. I want to play that game. I want to do all of this stuff. I'm not just going to sit here and be like, I'm going to play Minecraft all the time. And that's no disrespect to people who do, because they can find enjoyment in it. And that's great. But I would just get so bored after like, I don't know how long, but it's like, I'm ready for something else now. That's big. You pick the gloves, you jump between games. I mean, yeah. But like, I just, it does all right, and that's fine. One thing I have learned is like, the fact they've been doing it as long as they have, and still have, you know, people sticking around and number of subs that I do have, is actually, even though it's not like big numbers, it is actually still a very respectable result, because a lot of people don't get that, you know. I mean, I did that back when I started very early on in the streams. It was when I streamed on Thursdays. I had the Kerbal, I was playing Kerbal Space Program, doing Kerbal Build Club on Thursdays. But even that, I got tired of doing that. I got tired of that like regular thing. You know, Wednesdays where we do whatever story game. Every time I've tried to do that, because I've tried to do that in the past, also with like Mondays being a tabletop workshop or whatever it is. Every time I've tried to do that, and I've done it several times now, I can't make it last, because I get tired of the like Monday being that specific thing, or like Thursday being that specific thing. I like run out of road really quickly, and I find it hard when it's like, you know, I don't have an idea for something for that stream on the Monday or the Thursday, but but if I still had to do it, it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't, because I'd have to be like, I don't have anything, I got nothing, but I still have to do this specific thing. That's why I didn't end up sticking with them beyond a certain point, because I was like, I don't have anything. I don't have anything this week. And I wanted to keep that streak going, but I didn't. So yeah, it's, I don't know, it's tough. Tough for me specifically. I'm just like, I don't know. I think I just often, unless I've got like a game I'm currently playing through, like doing a playthrough of, I will sometimes be like, I don't know what I'm doing until I turn on the stream. I'm just like, what are we doing today? I don't fucking know. Here we go. Which is probably, you know, that's not ideal. It's not a not a great way to do things, but it's how it happens a lot. Let's see discussion from the other day about leaving things to the last minute, because that's the only time I can actually do them. That's the, you know, that's the time pressure. Yeah. At this point, it is what it is. And I know that like trying to push into a new direction, trying to do a certain thing, like, unless it's something I really, really want to do, I basically, I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Putting myself through a lot of crap just for not very much. So, unless I have a really strong idea about something I want to do, yeah. I will tell you, I have had thoughts about, like, because when I was thinking about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I was like, man, I do really, I grew up playing Zelda games, like, well, specifically Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, and I think Link to the Past when it was on Game Boy or whatever it came out for that wasn't the original release. I was like, it would be cool to kind of do, because I did in the past. I did the Star Wars Jedi Knight series retrospective, starting with Dark Forces 1, Dark Forces 2, Outcast, Academy, you know, going through that series. And it's like, it would be cool to do that with Zelda. That would require a lot, you know, you need a Switch and need some other things, but you know, starting from the original Zelda, Zelda 2, just going through the series, because that's a whole bunch of different things. So that would keep my attention going, and then, you know, we can progress from game to game. Because I've thought about doing that with Zelda. I wanted to do that. I don't know how easy it would be to do with Metal Gear as well, because with Metal Gear, well, with Zelda as well, but with Metal Gear, there's like a whole bunch of them that I just never played. Metal Gear Solid. And Zelda, like, I think I really only played Metal Gear Solid 5. And also Mass Effect. And playing Mass Effect 1 through 3. Because you can buy the Legendary Collection. So I do keep coming back to this idea of doing like a series of playing through an entire game series. So that might be something to do, but you know, I feel like that's more just like choosing a theme for streams for a while, rather than it becoming like a certain thing. You know, on Mondays we do this. It's like, no, we're gonna play through, you know, in chronological order or whatever. Oh, you can emulate all of Metal Gear. Interesting. Yeah. Guy called Jinray who does that as a format, works out great for him. Yeah, I think I've seen similar things. I think it was who was it? Was it someone from the Giant Bomb crew? The old Giant Bomb crew did this with, I think it was with Metal Gear. I forget who it was. I think that's where I got the idea from. I'm trying to remember who did that. Who Humst of Yumst. And also, I mean, it's also what we did, thinking about it, we did it with Halo, didn't we? That's what we did with Halo, basically. Like, it was myself and HP played through some of the stuff together, but that's what we did. Yeah. So, you know, we've done it before. And I think that would be fun. Oh, right, yeah, it was, yeah, we had, for the 2-player stuff, it was me and HP and you and Red. And then we all got together to do the 4-player co-op. Yeah. Yeah. It would require a bit of figuring out how to do it, certainly for like the Zelda one. I know you can, I guess you can emulate a bunch of it. That's probably fine. And do Gears, but Gears doesn't have consistency in how many players it offers in co-op. Yeah. Yeah, I think my, like, the two, oh, there are 3, yeah, it's like, you know, Zelda, Metal Gear, and, what else did I say? Mass Effect. Because I've read a lot about Mass Effect 3 and 2, but I think I only played 1. I don't think I actually played 2. It's been so long, though. I don't think I did. Maybe? No. Massive. So, yeah. And I never touched Andromeda as well. You know, I probably would, Pix. I think I would. I would just do like the whole thing, the whole series. The Metal Gear games from, you know. It's what we did with, when I did the Kyle Katarn story, Jedi Knight. I started with Dark Forces 1 and 2. Dark Forces 1 was basically like a Doom clone. And yeah, go right back to the MSX. Yeah, why not? Why not? Because I've never played them, and they are like the origin story, the origin of the franchise. It's where they started. Could do that. I guess you would, because I guess you would have to emulate them, wouldn't you? Because I don't know how else you would be able to play them in a way that I could stream. German book of passwords. Ah, yeah. That would make sense. Because what bugs me is that I don't know, because I know that there's a Metal Gear collection for PS3, but I don't think there's one for PS4, which is a shame, because that would be the easiest way for me to like stream it. I don't think there is, unless there is and I'm wrong, which would be great news. Maybe there is? Maybe it didn't have everything I wanted on it, but that's fine. Let me have a look. Oh, right, no. The Metal Gear Solid HD collection is for PS3. I'm trying to remember if the PS4... No, it's not backwards compatible, is it? Unless it is? No. But yeah, you can emulate the whole thing. It's like games like Twin Snakes and Metal Gear Acid, and look at, you know, find a way to play it unemulated. This is true. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm no problem with emulation. I generally would, if I can do it legitimately, you know, I would like to. But if I got to emulate a bunch of stuff, then that's also fine. Yeah. But I guess it isn't going to come to PS4 anytime soon, so that's what you got to do. Metal Gear. All right. I at least I think with the Zelda thing, this would have to involve getting a Switch, I think, or at least that would honestly be pretty easy way to do it, because then you can, I think you can get everything. Like, I think it all exists on the Nintendo shop somewhere. I think you can. Wolfenstein. Yeah, the thing with Wolfenstein, man, that would maybe involve playing through. Would I have to go through New Colossus and New Order again? I already did that, but that wouldn't be too big of a problem, except for New Colossus, and I would have to fuck with the settings. They would be at the end. That's true. I could do everything else, and then just like, I already played these. Don't worry about it. Yeah. For another recommendation, you do Final Fantasy 1 to 10 on console nowadays. This is true. I think I saw there's the Pixel remake, right, of Final Fantasy 1 that is like fairly recent. And I have never finaled a fantasy, so I could give that a go. 1 to 5 have pixel remasters now. Okay, yeah. The thing with doing something like a retrospective like that, right, is that when we get to 7, yeah, I would definitely not want to do like a remake in place of the original game. Something like a pixel remaster where it's basically just shinier graphics, whatever. That's not a problem. But, you know, if we were doing this, we would get to, you know, 6, and then I would not want to play you want to do the original 7, not 7 remake, because that's completely different. Yeah. Because really, I'm interested in like the kind of archive, almost like archival stuff, where it's like I would like to play it as close to the way it was released as possible to try and get a sense of what it was like. Like a pixel remaster is fine because it makes it look a little bit different, but other than that, it doesn't do much else. I want to try and see it for how it was, or as close to how it was at the time, because that's what I'm interested in. The historical documents, and partly like seeing if it still holds up. But yeah, there's all sorts. And yeah, Final Fantasy, I have literally never played a Final Fantasy game. Well, that's not entirely true. I played a tiny bit of Final Fantasy 15, the demo. I remember playing that, where you drive around in the car, because you could play that for free. Yeah. I think what other demo was rough. I don't remember much about it other than driving around. Combat controls just didn't work. For 15 was rough in general. Yeah. Ah. Huh. There we go. Alright, sorry, let's deal with some spam. But yeah, so okay, put Final Fantasy on that list. The other selfish reason for wanting to do this is because these games, there's a lot of... It's like, alright, I won't be wanting for content for a while. You do this like, I won't have to think about what I'm doing for streams. 14 is maybe would become the whole channel, yeah. Yeah, I think if I were to do this for Metal Gear, my not for Metal Gear, for Final Fantasy, my thought process would be, let's at the very, I wouldn't be sure about like doing MMOs or whatever, because I should maybe try it, but whatever. It would be like the mainline like solo games that are not the MMOs. Just try those. So, we can try that. 14 different breed of MMO, if you want to play it with a story focus. Yeah, I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Because that would be a ways down the line anyway, right? You got a whole bunch of stuff. So it's something to consider. But Final Fantasy... God, the original one's from 87. There's 13 games to get through first, yeah. And they are all available on... Final Fantasy 2, 4, 3, 4... X... Oh, right. Oh god, eventually you'd have to play Final Fantasy X. Yeah, man, yeah. It's... okay. I shall have to make a concerted effort to make one of these happen, because they've been percolating around in my brain for a while, and it would be a good idea. 10's fine, shame they never made a sequel. 10, 10-2, oh god, you can get to Lightning Returns or whatever. God, there's so much of it. It's like, alright, this is the next year. Next 2 years of streams is all the Final Fantasy games. But you know what? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, the Titus laugh. Yeah. A year of Final Fantasy X games. No. Yeah, just a year of Blitzball. Because that's the thing. I remember watching Kathleen play it on Lure. I remember watching some of that. Oh, right. FF13. Right. Oh, God. No. There's like 3 Final Fantasy 13 games, right? Oh, God. It's just not worth it. Listen, I gotta at least try it. I've gotta be fair to it. If I get that far, listen. If I make it all the way to Final Fantasy 12, and I still want to keep going, I've got to be fair to it. I've got to give it a try. If it's still crap, then if I don't enjoy it, then fine. Give it a fair shake. This is my thing, because if I'm gonna do this, like with Final Fantasy or with Metal Gear or with Zelda or whatever it is, right? I don't want to skip the bad ones. Like, I don't want to do that. At least like out of hand, to be like, oh, I'm not playing that one. If I play it and I'm like, oh, I'm not having a good time, that's different. That's different. But I'm not like, I want to get the full picture, you know? Like, I don't, even when it comes to, you know, when it comes to like TV shows, people are like, oh, you can skip this episode, it's not great. I'm like, no, watch the whole thing, get the whole picture. Except Code of Honor in TNG Season 1. That one's just really racist, so you can skip that one. The thing, unless it's like egregiously harmful and bad. I want to see it all, warts and all. Give me the whole thing. Yeah. I'm just gonna look something up real quick. PlayStation Store. Switch. Final Fantasy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, they're all... Yeah, right, you can get all of the Final Fantasy games on the PS Store. So this is actually entirely doable. I don't have to emulate anything. I don't have to figure that out. I don't have to get any additional materials or not materials, like equipment. I don't have to figure that out. So that one's actually easy to start, isn't it? It's tempting. It's very tempting. Oh right, this is empty. Great long stretches, no save point. I wonder if that's been updated in the newer version. 11 is the only game that's not on the PlayStation. Interesting. Let me see. Final Fantasy 11. Oh, because 11 is an MMO, right? That's the other MMO. Okay. Right. Right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, FF14. People would be a lot more upset if I skipped F14. That's true. You're like 11. It doesn't matter. Oh, and there is a bundle as well. You can buy the Final Fantasy 1-6 Pixel Remaster bundle for like $65 or 65 quid or something like that. Yeah, 1 to 6. You get everything. It's a lot of game. I wonder. I don't know. That would be committing, you know, right? That would be like, okay, we're gonna do all of these, but it's probably cheaper than buying them all individually, right? Otherwise, why bundle? Yeah, like the first two are like 10 quid and the rest are like 15, so it's probably cheaper that way. And some of them are with PS Plus extra. Oh, whatever. Okay, figure that out. Figure it out. Figure it out another time. I could just go. I might have to wait a bit until the next payment comes in, because I've already spent a fair bit of money this month on things that are not video games. But basically, that's the price of like a modern new game anyway. And it's not one game, it's 6 games. Alright. I make no promises as to when. Because I would also like to play a bit more Inscription, but I could also do that off stream. But whatever. But this is very doable. This is very doable. And, you know, set me up for a while with stuff to do. Stranger of Paradise, eh? Final Fantasy Origin. Ah. An alternate universe prequel of Final Fantasy. Interesting. Sure. Listen, that would be at the end of things, because that's recent. Basically, the room of video games. Oh no! Don't now you're now you're selling it to me. Oh hi, Mark. Amazing in the worst ways. It sounds like I should play it. It sounds terrible, but it sounds like I should. Set in a modern style, but meant to be a prequel to the more fantasy world of FF1. Look, look, man, I just work here. I don't know. I imagine that's one of the points of contention people have with it. So 1 to 6, all right, and then you would get Final Fantasy 7. Sorry, VII. Another thing, some of these are included. Some of these are also included in PlayStation Extra. So maybe that would be worth doing. I know. I'll figure this out. I'll spend some time figuring this out. Ah, okay. Actually, I think I have figured this out already. Because I think the smart thing to do, because the first 6 games are not included in PlayStation Extra or whatever, but everything after that, 8 through to, not sure which one. Certainly 8 through to like through to 9. Let me see if like 10 is. Yeah, is included in PS Plus Extra. So, okay, the financially smart thing to do then is to buy the bundle for 1 to 6, and then when it comes time to play 7, subscribe to Extra, and that way you can. It'll probably work out. I'm not sure how much Extra is actually. PS Plus. Let me look it up. See the membership plans, because it's not just the regular one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So, premium. Oh, right. We've got essential, extra, and premium. Okay. Okay. Okay, like okay, normal PS Plus is $6.99. Extra is like $10.99. Premium is $13.49. So I think that would work out cheaper then. Certainly if I could manage to get through more than one in a month, but that's unlikely. That might be the thing to do. Let me see. Final Fantasy 15. That one is not available with Plus. Oh no, no wait, that was 16. What am I looking at? No, 16, 14. XV Royal Edition. Right, that's also not with Plus. So I think oh no. No, it is. It is. Okay, so yeah, everything up to 15 except for 14, I guess, is included in that. Damn, why are you making it so attractive and easy to do? Alright. We're making plans. I'm still gonna wait a bit until I get my next like Twitch or Patreon payout, just so that I am so that I can buy the bundle and get the stuff. So it's not gonna happen right away. But you know, I think this is the front runner because it's by far the easiest one to do. Oh, interesting. Oh, special deal with Sony, only the 14 subs should be required. Oh, that's very handy, actually. That's very nice of them. It does sound scarily like a plan, doesn't it? Oh no. That's alright. Final Fantasy retrospective. Ho! And yeah, again, it's something I've never finaled a fantasy, so this will be an exciting development. See where it all began and where it ends up. All right, okay, yeah, I think we can do this. Next thing you know, you'll be attending the Distant World concerts. Yeah, basically the evolution of video games as a storytelling medium itself. You see, that's interesting. Yes. All right, you've done it. You've convinced me. That'll set me up for a while. So many times I feel like I'm, floundering between games. Of like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. But this should keep me going for a little while, huh? All right. Oh, and just, to manage expectations, there's a good chance that, if we get this thing going, I might want to take a break every now and then, be like, let's do something else for a little bit, and then we'll get back to Final Fantasy. Just, as a palate cleanser. Or if something comes out that I really, really desperately want to play. So just something to bear in mind. But my plan would be to try and do as much of it consecutively as possible. The summer of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy summer, yeah. But we'll see how it goes. Alright, well, stay tuned for that, because that's scarily easy to make it happen. But yeah, well, when I get around to that, and that should hopefully be soon, then, yeah, that should be fun. Exciting. Alright, but it is 8:32, so I'm going to call it there for tonight. Good chats. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. We've got something exciting lined up. I'm going to be back next week with the usual stuff. I'm debating. I do kind of want to try and, like I said, I'm not going to start Final Fantasy immediately next week. I just want to make sure I get a payout so that I can budget things properly and whatever. So I might try and see how far I get on Inscription next week. But at least I would hopefully soon, maybe at the beginning of next month, because then I will definitely get a payout there. I just got to make sure I'm all set up for this. Or I could just bite the bullet and be like, I'll be fine. We'll see. I'll figure it out. But next week I'll be back with some regular stuff, with some probably try and finish Inscription. I've no idea how much of it is left. Who knows? And whatnot. Yeah, but that's it from me tonight. Let me see who I can send you over to. Is HP live playing Tears of the Kingdom? He is. Who else is live as well? I'm just like, I mean, I do so rarely get to raid HP, so I might as well. So, you know, those of you who are concerned about spoilers for Tears of the Kingdom, feel free. Don't worry about sticking around for the raid. But I'm going to send you over to HP just because I so rarely get to raid him. And anyway, I'll be back on Monday of next week. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching. Have a great week. And I'll see you soon. Oh, wait. Before I forget. I got to do the thing. You got to get the VODs. If you want to get the VODs, are on the YouTube channel. Going up every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you want to help support my Final Fantasy playthrough, you can subscribe, join the Patreon, or buy some merch at the store if you want to support my retrospectives or whatever else. But just hanging out and being here is plenty, because that helps me have a good time doing this. Anyway, that is it, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.